Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we cut through the noise and deliver the essential insights from complex topics, getting you well-informed fast. Today, we're taking a deep dive into something, well, utterly foundational to our interconnected world: the various modes of transportation and logistics. Every single item we consume, from your morning coffee to the device you're listening on right now, it embarks on this really complex journey before it reaches you. Understanding that journey, specifically how goods move, is just key to comprehending our global economy. Think about this. Transportation accounts for a staggering 80% of the world's total logistics cost. That's huge. So our mission today is to navigate this intricate web of transportation methods, exploring what truly moves the world's goods, from the biggest ships to the fastest planes and pretty much everything in between.
And this isn't just some niche topic for logistics pros. Honestly, for anyone interacting with global commerce. Maybe you're a business owner or a consumer or just curious about how stuff gets around. Understanding these choices, it really impacts timely delivery, cost savings, and ultimately customer satisfaction. It's becoming even more relevant, too. Worldwide cargo transport is projected to triple its current volume by 2050. That just underscores how critical these strategic choices are becoming.
Right. So have you ever stopped to really consider that intricate dance? The vehicles, the routes, the schedules. That brings a package from some warehouse halfway across the world right to your front door. That journey, maybe from a factory thousands of miles away to your doorstep, it relies completely on this, unsung hero of global commerce transportation. It really is the backbone of logistics management. It enables that seamless movement of products from producers to consumers.
Exactly. And as businesses keep expanding globally, delving into international markets, the demand for dependable and effective transportation methods, it just intensifies. What's also critically important now, and you hear it everywhere, is the increasing emphasis on sustainability. The transport sector is a significant source of direct greenhouse gas emissions, GHG, mainly from fuel combustion. And this puts immense pressure on companies to adopt greener practices. That fundamentally shifts how transportation decisions are made.
Okay, so if transportation is the whole journey, what are the main vehicles, the main ways things move? We often talk about the big four. That's road, sea, air, and rail. Each one operates like maybe a specialized tool in a really complex toolbox. Each has its own unique strengths and, weaknesses too.
That's a really apt way to think about it. And the key takeaway here, I think, is that selecting the best mode. It's never a one-size-fits-all solution. It always depends on specific factors, like the type of cargo you're moving, the urgency, the timing, your budget, and, of course, the exact origin and destination.
Right, let's start with road freight, trucking. This is probably the mode most of us can easily picture, right? We see trucks on the road all the time. It's immensely popular globally, often used for cross-border shipments or those direct-to-customer deliveries. Some World Bank data suggests roadways handle over 70% of the world's goods by volume.
Yeah.
That's a huge figure, especially when we often focus on, giant container ships. It really highlights how that last-mile journey is still maybe the unsung hero.
It absolutely is.
And often the most fragile link in our supply chains.
Yeah, road transport offers just unparalleled flexibility. You can make real-time route adjustments, and it provides that crucial door-to-door service, which eliminates the need for intermediate handling of goods. That's a big plus. For relatively shorter routes, trucks tend to be the most practical choice. They offer simpler tracking capabilities, too. This makes it incredibly well-suited for local and regional deliveries, e-commerce, and that critical last-mile delivery we mentioned. Plus, it supports both full truckload, FTL, where the whole truck is yours, and less than truckload, LTL, where your goods share space.
But it's not without its bumps in the road, so to speak. Disadvantages. Well, there's a higher risk of breakdowns and delays. Things like traffic congestion. I read a report saying that costs the global economy billions every year just in lost productivity.
Billions, yeah. It's staggering.
Plus, unforeseen weather, road closures. Road freight generally takes longer than rail or air for those really long distances. And yes, there's probably a higher risk of theft or damage compared to other modes. It's definitely inefficient for very long or transcontinental routes.
So when does road freight make the most strategic sense?
Well, it's typically best for goods like, say, agricultural produce, finished products heading to retail, in any cargo that really needs a direct route to its destination. That includes perishable or temperature-sensitive goods using refrigerated trucks or reefers. It's also ideal for small to medium quantities. Okay, so road freight handles the sprints, the shorter runs. But what about the true long-haul marathons of global trade? For that, we turn to the vastness of the ocean. Sea freight, also called ocean or maritime transport. This is truly the backbone of international trade. We're talking approximately 80 to 90% of global goods by volume. The sheer scale is just incredible. These ships can handle cargo loads far, far larger than any plane.
You're absolutely right. Ocean freight is often the most economical choice for international trade. It's ideal for bulk transportation at a reasonable price. Think about it. Cargo ships can carry thousands of tons, large machinery, raw materials, even thousands of cars at once. And a critical point here is per ton mile. That's the energy or environmental impact for moving 1 ton of cargo 1 mile. Ships are among the most energy efficient modes, much more efficient than air freight, and generally seen as a greener alternative, emitting fewer greenhouse gases per unit moved. It also offers flexibility. You've got full container load, XCL, where the whole container's yours, and less than container load, LCL, where you share. Plus, it has fewer cargo limits, often used for those oversized, dense, or even dangerous goods that can't easily go by air or road.
Okay, but the trade-off is time, right? Sea transport typically has significantly longer transit times compared to air or even rail, so it's unsuitable for urgent deliveries. It also requires really well-developed port infrastructure. You can't just dock these massive ships anywhere, and shipping schedules can be disrupted. Things like bad weather, port congestion, which we saw major issues with recently, and even geopolitical factors.
True.
And while ships are efficient per ton mile, it's worth noting the scale. A single large cargo ship's carbon emissions can be equivalent to, well, millions of cars, though there are ongoing global efforts to reduce ocean emissions significantly, like by 50% by 2050. It's that classic balancing act. Efficiency versus absolute impact.
Exactly. So sea freight is best for large and heavy goods, machinery, automobiles, bulk shipments, and generally goods with lower urgency. It can also work for perishable or temperature-sensitive goods, provided you use those refrigerated containers reefers again, which can extend shelf life over the longer journey.
All right, now let's switch gears completely. If speed is your absolute #1 priority, then air freight is the undisputed champion. It's globally accessible, plays a massive role in world trade, transporting about 52 million metric tons of goods annually. And get this, that represents more than 35% of global trade by value. Not volume, but value. That tells you something about what travels by air.
Absolutely. Speed is king here.
It really represents the pinnacle of speed in logistics. It dramatically compresses lead times, from weeks down to mere hours in some cases.
Exactly. Those fastest transit times make it perfect for urgent shipments, tight deadlines, or maybe last-minute inventory needs. It offers unparalleled global reach, too, efficiently connecting major cities and even remote destinations where road or rail infrastructure might be limited or non-existent. Plus, strict airport protocols generally offer higher protection against theft, tampering, and damage, so it's a highly secure option. Consistent flight timetables usually reduce uncertainty and enable tighter supply chain planning. And those faster delivery times can mean less need for excess warehousing and buffer stock, potentially lowering your overall inventory costs.
But that incredible speed comes at a premium, a big one. Air freight has the highest cost per unit compared to other methods. That's mainly due to higher fuel costs and, frankly, limited cargo capacity on planes compared to ships or trains. It also comes with strict weight and size or volume restrictions, so it's generally not suitable for transporting large volumes of heavy materials. And despite ongoing improvements in fuel efficiency, air travel remains a significant contributor to worldwide carbon emissions. It has the highest GHG emissions per ton mile of any mode.
That's a key point, the environmental impact.
Yeah. And it's also quite vulnerable to disruptions from severe weather and, air traffic control delays.
So therefore, air freight is really the ideal choice for high-value, low-volume items, things that are urgent or time-sensitive. Think pharmaceuticals, electronics, fresh produce that needs to get there fast, luxury goods, medical supplies, critical components, where time is literally money, or maybe even life-saving.
Okay, our final member of the Big Four is rail freight. This plays a really crucial role in moving goods, especially between continents or across large land masses, particularly in regions with well-integrated rail systems like North America, Europe. In the U.S. alone, railways handle more than 40% of the long-haul freight. That's significant.
It is. Rail systems are incredibly adept at moving significant volumes of goods over expansive stretches. They're ideal for heavy and bulky items, often much more efficient for those types of loads than trucks or vans. This mode also offers compelling cost advantages, especially when you're transporting commodities like coal, metals, agricultural products, raw materials over medium to long distances. Furthermore, rail transport is often more fuel efficient than trucks, emitting fewer greenhouse gases per ton mile. So on average, lower GHG emissions compared to road or air, making it a notably greener choice. And fixed rail schedules are generally less impacted by traffic or, most weather disruptions, leading to predictable and reliable transit times. Crucially, rail integrates easily with trucks or ships for what we call multimodal transport solutions. We'll touch on that more later.
But the disadvantages, railroads are fixed. That means less flexibility compared to road transport. You can't just reroute a train easily. And rail networks, well, they're simply not as extensive as road networks or even ocean access in certain regions. You can't always get direct delivery to the final spot.
That first and last mile issue?
Exactly. It often necessitates using road transport for the initial pickup and the final delivery legs of the journey. It's also slower than air freight, naturally, and generally more time-consuming than road transport if you need something urgently. Plus, the process of loading and unloading, especially at intermediate points, can sometimes increase the chances of damage.
So putting it all together, rail freight is best for bulk commodities, heavy machinery, vehicles, raw materials, or manufactured goods, especially over medium to long hauls. And it's definitely a go-to for businesses prioritizing their GHG emissions reduction targets. That's becoming a bigger factor.
Okay, so we've covered the individual modes, but often the smartest logistics involve combining them. This brings us to the fascinating world of combined transport. Intermodal and multimodal transportation. If the big four are powerful individual engines, then maybe combined transport is like the sophisticated transmission, allowing us to seamlessly shift gears and leverage each engine's strengths for the best overall journey. These are really intricate frameworks designed to optimize cargo movement by using multiple modes.
Yeah, and the real genius here isn't just efficiency, it's the strategic agility it offers. The core concept is leveraging the strengths of each mode: speed from air, capacity from sea, cost-effectiveness from rail, flexibility from road to optimize the whole operation. This helps reduce transit times, minimize handling risks, and importantly, this approach can strategically support decarbonization goals by, say, minimizing truck miles where rail is feasible.
And while people often use the terms interchangeably, there are some important nuances between multimodal and intermodal. Multimodal transport generally refers to moving goods under a single contract, but using at least two different modes like air, then sea, then road.
Okay, one contract covers everything.
Right. Intermodal transport is similar, but often operates under multiple separate contracts for each leg of the journey. Think of it this way. Multimodal is like buying an all-inclusive travel package. One ticket covers your flight, your transfer, your hotel. Intermodal is more like booking each leg separately yourself. But the key thing with intermodal usually is that the cargo stays in the same shipping container throughout the journey. That's huge for keeping goods safe and secure during transfers.
That constant containerization is key, yes. The benefits overall are clear, though. This combination offers immense flexibility, potentially lower overall costs, and really efficient use of resources. It caters to both large volumes and smaller shipments, providing a cost-effective solution across diverse needs. And honestly, in today's global supply chains, especially with volatile freight rates and, the ongoing shortage of truck drivers, these combined approaches, they're absolutely critical for resilience and optimization.
Of course, with complexity comes challenges. These systems aren't always seamless. You can face issues like complex coordination needed between different carriers and operators. There's potential for missed connections or delays in one leg cascading and affecting subsequent ones. And yes, there can be an increased risk of damage if the cargo does need to be moved between different types of containers or handling equipment, though intermodal minimizes this.
Coordination is definitely the tricky part.
Now let's touch on something a bit more specialized and often overlooked: pipeline transport. This is a really critical niche in the logistics industry, but primarily for moving liquids and gases.
Indeed. The advantages of pipelines are quite unique. They provide a continuous, efficient, and highly reliable method of transportation. They're largely less affected by external factors compared to road or maritime transport. No traffic jams, usually less weather impact. They offer a direct route from the source to the destination. This is ideal for things like offshore drilling operations, connecting to onshore refineries, or moving natural gas across entire continents.
On the flip side, though, the initial setup cost for pipelines is incredibly high. Massive investment is needed. And once they're built, they are, by their very nature, geographically fixed. You can't just reroute a pipeline if demand shifts.
No, you certainly can't. And this brings us to an important point regarding the environmental controversies surrounding them. Pipelines have faced significant concerns, often about, well, enabling or increasing the speed and volume of the oil and gas industry, which critics argue contributes to additional fossil fuel emissions and potentially slows the transition towards sustainable energy solutions by kind of entrenching that existing infrastructure. It's a complex infrastructure debate.
Yeah, definitely complex. So ultimately, pipelines are best suited for transporting things like crude oil, refined petroleum products, natural gas, and sometimes even water over long distances, where that continuous flow and direct delivery outweigh the high upfront costs and, for some industries, the environmental questions.
Okay, so that's a tour of the main modes. How do you actually put all this knowledge into action? How do you choose? When selecting the right mode or combination of modes for any given shipment, it fundamentally boils down to aligning 4 key things: cost, speed, GHG emissions, and reliability. Aligning those with your specific business goals and, crucially, the nature of the goods themselves.
You hit on the core challenge right there. It really requires considering several critical factors. Let's maybe run through a checklist for our listeners. First, the nature of the cargo. Is it perishable, fragile, hazardous, bulky?
Yeah.
Does it need special handling, like refrigeration?
Right, what is it?
Then think about distance and destination. How long is the route? And what's the accessibility like at the origin and destination? Are there good ports, railheads, airports, roads? Don't forget cost constraints and budgeting. You need to meticulously analyze the cost effectiveness of different options. That includes fuel, maintenance, labor, and any economies of scale certain modes offer.
The bottom line always matters.
Always. Then time sensitivity and urgency. Is rapid delivery essential, or is timing less critical, allowing for a slower, maybe more economical option? Increasingly important, as you said, are environmental concerns and sustainability. Are you prioritizing eco-friendly options, trying to reduce your carbon footprint, aligned with sustainability goals?
More and more companies are tracking this.
Absolutely. And finally, assess risk and safety. What are the risks of potential cargo damage, loss, or theft associated with each mode? And how can you mitigate those risks? Oh, and one more. Existing relationships. Sometimes leveraging established partnerships with specific carriers or logistics providers can offer benefits in terms of rates, service, or reliability.
That's a good point. And often integrating various modes, going for that intermodal or multimodal approach, can be the most strategic way to achieve what we might call the optimal triad. That's hitting the sweet spot between maximum efficiency, significant cost effectiveness, and enhanced environmental responsibility. It's really about smart orchestration.
And this whole landscape, it's not static, is it? Transportation dynamics are continually evolving, often at breakneck speed, largely driven by rapid advancements in technology. It's a truly fascinating time to watch the sector transform.
It really is. We're seeing some truly innovative concepts that are reshaping or promise to reshape the future of logistics. Take drone delivery systems, for example. They're moving beyond just being a novelty. They're seriously being looked at for small package delivery, reaching remote areas quickly, solving some of those tricky last-mile challenges.
Right, getting packages over the last few blocks or even miles.
Exactly. Then there are autonomous vehicles, like self-driving trucks. The big emphasis there is on cost reduction, increased efficiency, potentially operating 24/7, and a potentially transformative impact on road transport safety and operations. Looking even further ahead, you have concepts like Hyperloop and maglev trains. These envision ultra-fast, potentially sustainable long-distance logistics solutions that could, well, revolutionize ground transport if they become viable at scale.
That feels a bit sci-fi still, but the potential is huge.
It is. And more immediately, there's a continued push for electric vehicles, EVs, and hydrogen-powered transport, aiming for diminished carbon footprints and reducing reliance on fossil fuels across pretty much all modes. Trucks, vans, maybe even ships and planes eventually. And one more I find intriguing is the role of blockchain in transportation, using it to enhance transparency, traceability, and security in logistics documentation and payments. That could reduce fraud, speed things up, cut paperwork.
What's particularly powerful, I think, is how all this technology, the drones, the autonomous vehicles, blockchain, isn't just about individual improvements. It's about the synergy when combined with sophisticated supply chain management systems. We're talking real-time tracking of everything, everywhere. Data-driven decision-making, often powered by AI, seamless integration across different modes and routes.
Absolutely.
Right.
And none of this high-tech vision works efficiently without strong underlying processes, strong asset management, meticulous logistics execution. That includes things like accurate financial auditing and settlement for freight charges. These elements are critical for maximizing efficiency, reducing waste, eliminating delays in global movements, ensuring every part of that complex journey is optimized.
Wow. What an illuminating deep dive into this incredibly complex yet vital world of logistics transportation. We've really covered the immense value of understanding these various modes, whether you're directly involved in moving goods or just curious about how the world around you actually works.
So maybe a final thought to leave you with. As global trade continues to grow and that push for sustainability only intensifies, how will these rapid advancements in technology that we've just discussed further redefine the very core of how goods move around the world? And maybe more excitingly, what entirely new modes might emerge from this wave of innovation? What do you think the next decade holds for that package making its journey to your door?
That's a powerful thought to ponder. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive. Join us next time as we explore another fascinating topic.